Both of my parents grew up behind the Iron Curtain. They moved to America where they had me and my brother. My dad was always an avid rock music fan. He even took me to my first heavy metal concert when I was just 9 years old. AC/DC played in the largest stadium in Bulgaria. Roughly 50,000 people were jumping around, and even though everyone was younger than my dad, he seemed to be having the most amount of fun. Unlike the other fans, he hadn't been able to express his appreciation for rock music growing up.
I was in my early teens when I discovered heavy metal. When the 80s started, every cool kid in the neighborhood was thrashing their heads to guitar solos and heavy drums.
My dad and his friends came across a smuggled AC/DC tape. The quality was awful and they could barely understand the words, but that didn't matter to them. It was a taste of what life was like out in the free world.
Some fans roamed the streets of Sofia at night and yelled, "Punk's not dead!" but always after making sure that the police were not around to arrest them for their anti-socialist agenda.
There was a stark contrast between the way I grew up and the childhood of my parents. So much of their individuality was suppressed. You could get suspended from school for trying out a new hairstyle. You could get arrested for wearing a studded leather jacket on the street. It was a life where your self-expression was controlled entirely by government officials. The very things you read, listened to on the radio, watched on TV, all of it restrained people's liberties, suppressing their human flourishing to keep them in line. We pride ourselves in our individuality, our creativity, our talents and tastes because they are what make us us. They are unique to each person and are what enable us to uncover and pursue our passions and ambitions. Without the chance to exercise our free will, we would be left lifeless machines, devoid of the very things that define our humanity.
In 2010, I took my daughter to that AC/DC concert. And I looked around and I noticed something was missing. There wasn't a single cop with a political agenda waiting to arrest me for my taste in music. The only thing I saw was free people enjoying their time.
While I never experienced the harsh realities of an authoritarian regime, I was always aware of its ever-present threat. After all, it was Reagan who said, "Freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction." If we want to ensure our liberty is secured, we must never forget the nightmares that its absence procures.